we're here at NAMM 2011. I'm standing here with Peter Vogel, the inventor of the CMI Fairlight instrument. I want to talk to him a little bit about his new product, and hopefully we'll get maybe a few insights on the original product all those years ago. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Thank you for bringing the Fairlight back. So how did this come about?
Well, for the last 10 years or so, I've been, every few days I'd get an email from someone who's found me on Google, and they'd say, "Oh, I'm so pleased I found you. I have a Series 2 Fairlight that I've owned for 20 years and I still use it, and one of my floppy drives is broken. Where can I get a new 8-inch floppy disk drive?" Or, some of them, the CRT screen is fading out after all these years, and I estimate there's something over 100 CMIs still in use around the world, and these people just love them to death. So I thought 30 years, it's now 30 years since we sold the first units. I thought it would be a good time for a comeback, and something obviously using modern technology, which is very reliable and easily serviceable, but still has that good old Fairlight user experience.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, it is almost identical. I mean, I just was talking to Duncan that it was very exciting to see that you stayed very true to the original design, but obviously you've updated the system itself. What's different now from the original Fairlight?
Well, cosmetically, we kept it as true to the original as we could. The casings are still made out of wood, spray painted wood. We still use the light pen. This was actually a bit of a challenge in these days of everyone using a mouse or a touch screen. This is not a touch screen, and it works exactly like the old light pen did. As you get close to the screen, the cursor follows it, and you click the button here. But of course, it's not a CRT display; it's a TFT display, and capable of full color, but we've stayed with the very distinctive monochrome green. And one of the things that people said they really like about the Fairlight is that they could just sit down, go immediately to what they want to do and get to work, as opposed to the more modern systems, which have got thousands of options and menus and pop-downs and drop-downs, and you never know quite where you are. And of course, in its day, that was by necessity. It wasn't really by design, because that sort of technology didn't exist, and we were working with 64K of memory, so it was a bit limited. But it was those limitations that gave the instrument its special appeal.
So the actual functionality for anybody who used to play a Fairlight is going to find it very easy to acclimate pretty quickly to.
Yeah, it uses all the same keyboard commands. So you type P2 and you get to the directory page, and it works exactly the same way. But of course, it's a completely open-ended system, and we've started off by just reproducing basically what the CMI did, so that it has the base functionality, but we've expanded. We've taken a few liberties, like the original Series 2 was limited to eight tracks and eight monophonic voices, and so our basic system now is 24 tracks and 24 voices. Of course, that's only using a couple of % of the processing power that's available.
What about the library? Do you have a lot of the original sounds?
We one of the attractions that we have the complete Series 2 and Series 3 sound library available. So all those classic sounds that permeate all the hits of the 80s are all available.
Have donated any of their samples as well?
We're just gathering some of them as we speak. But yes, we do have quite a number of samples.
Now, there's a couple other things. One that's shown here, but also I saw a second ago, you've actually got a little iPhone dock that actually functions, and it does function with the instrument. What exactly is that for?
Well, we had a lot of trouble on the right-hand end of the keyboard of the original instrument. There was a little keypad and an alphanumeric LED display, and we couldn't get those LED displays anymore. And so we decided it would be a good thing to have a display on which we can actually show exactly the image of what the old keypad used to work like, and you can press the buttons and do all those things, but it is actually a multi-touch controller as well.
And it's fully functional. Your iPhone.
So it's actually an iPod Touch, and if you want to, you can watch YouTube videos during the drum solo, but you can also have little apps on there that do things like fader controllers or two-dimensional controls or whatever people might think up in the future as a control device. So it's just a general purpose.
Well, in the last 30 years, as far as technology has come, and it's amazing what you can do now. I noticed you have the original Fairlight on an iPad app now, and can you tell us a little about that and when that'll be released?
We do. We have basically the whole of the CMI Series 2 and its sound library will be available on the iPad. It's in beta testing at the moment, and we're hoping to release that by the end of January, depending on how long it takes to get it cleared by Apple.
Excellent. One last question I wanted to ask you. I heard a little story here a minute ago about, is it true that the inspiration as a coder and a developer of fine instruments like this, you developed this because you felt like you just didn't have time to learn how to play music?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, as a kid, I was very keen to learn to play keyboard, and I took some piano lessons, and after the first few lessons, I said, this is too hard. There's got to be an easier way. So I came up with a programming language, which was called MCL, Music Composition Language, and it was just a very simple text-based language where you could type in, play this note for this long, and then you could loop them and nest them and make things play at the same time. And that was more or less for fun. And then, of course, musicians found that it was more than a fun toy, and there were whole albums released using that as the compositional tool.
I think musicians also will find it very interesting to know that it was more difficult to play music than it was to learn a programming language and program a system from the ground up.
Absolutely.
Anyway, it was very nice to meet you, Peter, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.